What's up everyone, Coach MccDann here. So, you've made some amazing progress on your competitive journey. You've applied yourself and have sought out tons of new methods to improve. But if we're all completely honest with ourselves, we'll walk away from a set in a tournament with more questions than answers most of the time. So, how can we mitigate this? Well, strap in, because today we're going to explain the importance of asking your opponents questions and how this is an essential part to your overall improvement at the game. For our warm-up today, we're going to practice some mindfulness while playing our matches. Play 2 games with a friend, family member, or high-level CPU, and focus on what factors cause you to lose a stock. Take into account your positioning on or off stage, see if you make any panic options, and notice if there's a better option you could have chosen to prevent you from losing the stock altogether. As Albert Einstein once said, "I have no special talent, I am only passionately curious." This is a fascinating quality that applies to every single individual on Earth, but hardly anyone takes this time to recognize it about themselves. Competitors go through very rigorous amounts of practice in their time participating in competition. Progressive players are always the type of competitor that is always striving to fix aspects of their play, balancing their ability to do their best while disregarding any result that comes from it. So, if you're someone who would like to grow more into this progressive state of thinking, it all boils down to the main understanding that your setbacks are not intended to be viewed as solely negative experiences. And the best way we can shift our perspectives into this type of thinking involves learning from the people and experiences that surround us. You might view asking questions about a competitive match you just lost as a bad thing, assuming you think negatively on the topic and don't view yourself learning from other people how you could have done better as a method of improving. But the most interesting thing is that when learning from competitive Smash, sometimes the answers to improve are hiding in plain sight without you even knowing. And this is exactly where asking your opponent what you could have done better is very important. For our next exercise, we're going to focus on VOD reviewing a game. Head into an online game and focus on the last hit situations. Save your replay and focus on what you or your opponent could have done to prevent losing the stock. Keep in mind the same type of questions I mentioned in the warm-up from earlier. As you ultimately discover what is best for your play after constant practice, and you want to learn even more than what you've picked up after losing a game or a set, there's always a good time to ask your opponent for general tips on what they might have found predictable or lacking in your own gameplay. Asking for advice from your opponent can come off as a bit of a broad question, and some players might not honestly have a concrete answer as to how they won, as some players typically focus on their type of playstyle that inevitably outpaced yours. It's important to respect any type of answer you might get and move on to your next set, or even strike up a conversation with a friend about this subject. While others might have a better understanding of how to explain situations better, it's important to understand that there are other players who are in the same position of not being all too sure. You might even benefit from bringing up a specific situation both you and your opponent experienced and ask how you could have handled it better, like when recovering to stage or learning how to optimally punish a character's best option. Not only will this show that you're actively paying attention mid-match, but you're also ready to learn from the situation in a way that leads to better outcomes the next time around. But when you find the opportunity to ask an opponent questions, make sure to thank them and even compliment them on something about their play. Make sure you write down what they mentioned in some kind of notebook for future reference, and do your best to implement that in your own practice when you jump back into the game. Alrighty then, as we conclude with this exercise today, play 5 games online, and focus on both how you lose stocks in a game and also how you win or lose last hit situations. Write down your reasoning for what you did, but for that reasoning, write down other possible options that come to mind, and remember it when you go into the next game. Not only will this establish a new method of tracking what options are becoming habits for you, but it'll also help you cycle through some potential better options to potentially turn the outcome of a match completely on its head. This is Coach MccDann, and until next time.